Okay, I think this is recording. I'm not sure. That was it's super glitchy tonight. But so I am going to talk tonight. I did like how I motivate my students, and now I kind of wanted to talk through how I do my modules. Um, so somebody looking at this for the first time probably is going to notice that it does look like a lot of work. And last year I built my modules based on us being hybrid. So I was able to use a lot of the same things this year and just change it up a little bit. I do have some things to probably glitches to work out, but there are some things that actually worked out pretty well. So this is like my week 4, so we did potential energy. I do everything in DOK ones. So you have your DOK one, I mean, not DOK ones, but DOKs. So DOK ones, 2s, 3s, and 4s. And that has to do with how the information is given and what the kids do with it. So the DOK ones are what I call set and get, like they're getting their basic information. The DOK 2s are the labs, and the DOK 3s are the taking it and applying it to some situation, and then DOK 4s are the more creative, like you understand now, show me something you could do with it. So I always start with at the beginning of the module, I start with the main page that gives them kind of the agenda for the week. So I always put my objectives, and then like I said, we have that think moment. So I have some kind of think moment. This one actually has to do with potential energy, so I have a video for them to watch, and that's kind of the phenomenon. Then we had a competition this week. So I did a rubber band competition for extra points. But then we talked about what was the type of energy in that rubber band and how to make it actually do more work. So then I show them the plan. So as you can see, I have a pre-test that actually helps set them up on their way through the module. They're DOK1. So here I added an extra DOK1 this year. I found on Teacher Pay Teachers this thing called Doodle Notes, and I think I showed that earlier. I super like this, and I think it's for those people that are very artsy and like to draw in color, and as they're drawing and coloring and putting in information, it's helping retain some of that. So each one of these focuses kind of on a different learning style. So you have your basic science book here that also has a voice recording that you can listen to at the same time. They can fill in the interactive book, or I do have a PDF that they can fill out as well. They have an ed puzzle that I usually have, which is a video with some questions on it. And then actually you don't have it here because I just introduced the Doodle Notes at this time for the first time. The kids really liked it, so I added on another. So I have a video that I just get off YouTube videos that give a lot of the same information that has been given in the book in more detail, but in a different way. So they get to watch a video and take notes on that, do the Doodle Notes, so on and so on. So I'll show you in a little bit how I set that pre-test up, but some of them have to do 3 of these, some of them have to do 2, and some only have to do 1. So on my DOK2s, some weeks I actually have a hands-on lab and a simulation lab that they can do online. The virtual lab was for those kids who were online and remote the whole time last year, but it actually worked out well for those kids in the classroom as well. So we would always do this activity on our block days. So everybody does that no matter what. Everybody does it no matter where they're at in the module. And then if they wanted to do another lab for 4 more extra points, they can do the virtual lab. So some of them liked to do the virtual lab, some did not. Then the DOK3s here, you have to do one of those basically to get your 12 points. So there's either like a video where they can discuss something on a video and send it in, or they can do a discussion through Canvas and reply to the thread. And then the DOK4s, I had these last year as being optional this year. This group is the ones that only had to do 1 DOK1. So it gets them through the module a lot faster, and so it has them actually doing more creativity things with their information. So this one was creating an egg slingshot, which a lot of the kids enjoyed doing, or designing a cartoon. I don't think I had anybody do, they did a show me kind of thing online, but I don't think I had anybody actually do the cartoon part. So anyways, I want to take you back here to, I'm going to just go back previous so you can kind of see where my mastery paths are. So it took me a while to kind of get to this point. When I first started doing the mastery paths, oh, it's not like there. I think it's loading or something. I don't know. That's super slow tonight and glitchy. Anyways, that was a post test. That's why. As I was doing these mastery paths, and trying to set those up, there it is. See, glitchy. I was having a difficult time having all the things open up. And so I realized, with the help of Jeff Eckelberry, that I needed to put everything in the module. So I put everything that is not like their whole path up into the test. So it gives them, if they get an 8 out of 10, they only have to do this first one. So I have a page that's just set up for them that has their assignments on it, and then they can move to those assignments. So as long as each one of these has to have a different page, so those have to be set up separately in the module so that they aren't clicking on the same one or it wouldn't open. So this is only had to do one of these, then they have their lab open, their virtual lab, and their DOK4. Then the 6 through 8 only does 2 of them, then they have their lab, their virtual lab, and the DOK3. Some of them did want to do a 4, so I eventually started adding the 4 on too. And then the ones at this level have to do at least 3 of the DOK1s, and they have the lab and then a DOK3. Now, some still like to do the DOK4s, but I would not let them do that. I kind of gave them the backdoor way of getting into the DOK4, only if they could prove that they had the 2 or the 3 DOK1s done, because obviously they needed more of the basic information than somebody that actually was getting 8 out of 10. So this week that I actually did potential energy, there were a lot of really good scores. So we had a lot of people doing the actual DOK4s. This last week there was a solar energy activity that they actually did for 2 weeks. So the whole bad part about having a solar energy thing, or oven, solar energy oven, is that when there's no sun, it makes it difficult. So as you can see, I group my assignments all in a kind of a big group. It really helps the kids when they're filling out their checklist to have all those in that group, and so it all comes in one big chunk, and then they can look at what their grades were. So again, I'm going to take you down to potential, which is potential energy, that first group. So I always have the pretest that sets up the mastery path, and I put everything in this assignment group so that it all stays together. So I don't have quizzes and quizzes or whatever. It's quizzes are actually brought into here. So I have the DOK1, so I have your science dimensions, the ed puzzle, the doodle notes at this point, the potential lab, the virtual lab, a video. I had, this is the DOK3, which is the discussion. I had your DOK4s here, and then a checklist. So each week I have them fill out a checklist, and based on the information from the students last year, when I did an evaluation, they really liked having the choices, but they would always forget when we got to the checklist what all those were that they did. So I actually fill them in, and all they have to do is circle the ones that they've done and total up their points. Some of the kids do not understand the point of doing this because they expect me to go back and check them, and they don't understand why they have to. I'm hoping to move them, like I said, to the next section this next quarter, to where I'm giving less grades but more feedback. And so this thing here will become more important because it's going to have evidence on it that they actually did what they were supposed to do for the week. So they circle all this and they turn this in. This is the only thing that officially hits Infinite Campus as a grade, and then also their test. So the pretest doesn't count against them, which freaks them out at first because they always want to take it again. I'm like, no, the point is that you didn't know the information, so you need to learn it. It's not a bad thing. We all have things that we're strong at and things that we're weak at. So once they do the pretest, they work through their DOKs. On Friday, we always do a celebration. So as we get back over to this one section, so that is the checklist is turned in on Fridays no matter what. And then I have a celebration here, which is a test, but I call it a celebration because it's supposed to show how you've learned information, not trying to give you a bad grade. So they do get another chance to take that. I have it set up to be a 12-hour window, so they can't take it for 12 hours, and they're supposed to use that time to go back and look at what they missed and figure out how to correct it for the next time through. If they don't get the passing score, because I don't let them move on to the next module until they've got like at least half credit on that celebration. So if they don't pass because they don't have the half credit, then the third time I make them come up and work with me in class. So while other kids are working through their DOK ones, I have them work through taking their test again with me, and we go over the information together. You'll also see that I have a post test here, and you have little cows by things. So last year, for those kids that were remote and hybrid that could not get their stuff done, I started doing cows, and that gave them a little more modified amount of work. And then also I have a modified test for those that need it. So I have several kids on this one. They take that instead of the celebration. And the nice thing is that only the kids that take this post test get the post test. So it doesn't show up for everybody. It just shows up for those kids that are taking it. But they also do get both tests. So sometimes I do actually have one that takes the celebration and takes the post test, which it's fine. It's extra practice, right? So that kind of gives you an idea of what my modules look like. Like I said, they're a lot of setup at the beginning, but excuse me, the nice thing is that I actually had this from last year, and I'm able just to manipulate it this year for some of the changes that I want to do. So that's it for my video this week. I hope to get in here next week. Next week will probably be it for a little bit. And then we'll be starting a new unit, so I'll probably just reflect on what I've learned from the kids. I'm going to have them fill out a paper, and then excuse me, and then maybe not do a video that last week because my son's getting married. So that's all for today. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed looking at my module. Bye.